this new episode of Continuum Gaming, and in this episode we are going to have a look at 3 different games for Windows 10 Mobile again. And today those games are going to be Car Run, Cave Run 3D and Valley Point 4. My name is Gerald. As always, I've got a couple of different things with me, like the mouse I'm holding here. It's a Bluetooth mouse. I'm going to use my Foldable keyboard in this episode too. It's a Bluetooth-enabled keyboard which can be connected to a smartphone, for instance. In theory, there could be the Xbox One wireless controller, but I'm not going to use that one in this episode because there's none of the games which are really working with it. Which is a real shame for some of the games, because some of the games would very much benefit from this, but it's not like that. You will have to use it in a different way, because some of the games are even using more or less the tilt functionality of the smartphone and stuff like that, and you can't really use them in a different way, which is something very unfortunate. We can still do that, but from my point of view, I don't like that, especially if I have to do it wired more or less. You could, for instance, use the wireless functionality of Continuum, which is available. I have a video about that, so let's try it like that then. I'm not going to switch over because it's just too much hassle for me, and in the end I need the full battery power for the episodes I'm doing here. So if you want to try that out, try it out. But you are, of course, with the wireless connection, losing more or less the recharging of the battery, the constant recharging of the battery like that. So do whatever you want there, but that is maybe that one drawback you are getting with the wireless option. Other than that, you can of course play everything like you want to. So let's start with the first game. The first game is called Car Run. It's a pretty nice game. I like it. In general, I don't put it at the first position in my videos because the first is in general a little bit weaker than the others. But in the end, Car Run in this case would have been a spot for maybe the third one, I'm not sure. But it really got only there because it has one of the most stupid, more or less steering options that you can have. Other than that, it's a nice one, but that is really stupid because Car Run is Continuum enabled. So we can play it in the big screen here. So if I go in here, you can see it. There we are. I'm going to click on that. But the biggest problem about it is it's Continuum enabled. You can play it on a big screen like this, but you will have to use your smartphone to navigate through it. You can't use any kind of, let's say, the keyboard or the mouse itself, or at least not in a very nice way. And of course the Xbox One wireless controller isn't available too, which is a real bummer because this game would be much more fun with that. But still, it's like it is. So let's have a look at this game. As you already can see, it's a pretty interesting one because in the end it looks a little bit retro. So it has some kind of cars and it looks like it would be played on a CRT, I think, CRT display. So in the end, it's one with an interlaced interface, more or less, but it's of course not. It's just something that they put in to make it more retro. I like the game very much. In the end, you are driving a car, you are trying to escape some kind of a police car probably, and you are trying to collect coins and stuff like that. You can't hit other cars, and you just have to see that you are getting enough fuel. You will see the icon later on that side there, and you will have to connect fuel by collecting coins. I'm not sure why, but that's how it's done in this game. And of course you can buy stuff like other cars and so on and so forth like that. So if you want, for instance, to get this car, just click on that. If you already have stars in the end, because you have to use stars to buy cars and stuff like that, then you can get another one with different kinds of properties in the end. So the game itself changes a little bit depending on what car you're driving and so on and so forth. So if you like this game and you are playing it longer than I am doing, then you might have the option to get more information about it. So let's have a look at the options first. As you can see, there's not much to do here, but one very important thing for this game, you have to go to the options and turn the tutorial off after you played it, because otherwise you're not going to be able to play the game. It's very, very funny, but that is how it's done here. So if you played the tutorial once and you want to get rid of it, you have to go to the options and turn it off at this position here. And of course you can then reactivate it later on if you need to. Yeah, okay, so if you don't need that, then just hit the start button at this point. And as you can see, we are already driving. And yeah, here, just to let you know, nothing I can do about this. We can't drive our car, at least not fully, because for instance, W can be used to speed it up, but it's not going to do anything else. A little bit strange, right? But whatever. It's meant to be played with the tilting of the smartphone, so we are going to do that. And that's more or less all you can do in this case. You can do a strange combination of your keyboard, for instance, with W to gain speed and with tilting your smartphone to drive it, or you can of course use your smartphone itself for that. It depends what you want to do. It's all fine, but I think neither of them is really a good thing to do here. And I had my smartphone the wrong way around, and that really gave it a very bad option. But as you can see, if I tilt my smartphone around now, I can drive here. And now I'm just going to use my my keyboard with the W to drive on this road here. If you're not in continuum mode, of course you can use your touch then and play it like this. That's fine too. Okay, you got me. But in the end, it's a little bit strange just to use it like this. So yeah, whatever. And of course for the menu you are needing your mouse again. So this is why it's at the start here. I in general like the game because you really can play it nicely even with the tilt one. Some of the tilt or accelerator options out there are much more worse than this in the end, so much more pain in the ass, because they are overextending everything that you're doing. So just a small little tilt change or something and you're off the road or something. That's very, very bad. I never want to do that at the moment, thank you. Let's try it again. And let's try to be a little bit more focused on it. I'm not sure if I'm good at it, but we will see. And in the end, what you have to get here is as many of the coins as you can. Then try to speed up from time to time, of course. Get out here. Be very aware that, for instance, the other cars can drive around or just switch lanes and stuff like that, for instance, you saw it there. And so you really have to be aware of that. The police car is not going to catch you if you are driving, let's say, in a perfect manner or whatever you want to call that, even if it's looking sometimes like that. But as long as you're not running out of anything, it's fine. In the end, if you don't want to do what I am doing here, okay, you got me because I drove against the van there, but there are more options to this game too, so it's not only about speeding up and doing stuff like that, but you can, for instance, use your horn there, and if you use your horn, then other cars will switch lanes or get out of the way of you and stuff like that, or be faster then. So that's a nice little touch to it. If you like to play these kind of games, try it out, especially on the smartphone itself. It's a fine one. As mentioned before, if you're using it with Continuum, like I'm doing here, it's a little bit of a, let's say, bumpy road, pun intended, in the end, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend it to play it like this, but whatever. Maybe you like it. If you like it, or you just like the, more or less a challenge of it to play it like this, then try it out. It's a fun game, nevertheless. Okay, after that, we can of course go out of this game. And as you already saw, now we will have to switch over to the mirror mode of the smartphone. You already know about that. If a game is not Continuum enabled in any kind of way, you can go to your all libraries list and you already see it. If it's grayed out like this, then you can't play it on your smartphone itself in Continuum mode. So we will have to switch modes now. I will go to my 3 points menu, to the display settings, and after that, down below, you will be able to find the advanced settings. Here you can go to mirror the display more or less, and now you should be fine and should be able to navigate through the smartphone with your display, but you're not going to receive the full desktop-like experience here. So you already know about what that is happening and why that is happening. So the next game I'm going to show you is Cave Run 3D. It's a small little... I'm not sure if it's endless, but in the end it looks a little bit like an endless runner. So let's go to our all apps list down below here. If I click on that, you can already see Cave Run 3D. Now you can select it and play it. In the end, this is another game that you can play in different kind of modes, but I think I recommend no, why not? We can use the keyboard for that to play the game, because I think you can travel around. Be very aware of that. Not the arrow keys are going to work here, but WASD is going to be the ones you want to use here. Oh, did it drop out? I already played it. Let's try again. Yeah, there we go. It's Cave Run 3D. It's really a 3D game. It's a simple 3D game, but it's a nice one. And in the end, you have a couple of different options here. For instance, if you go in here, you will be able to switch between different kinds of options here: tilt, on screen, and keyboard. Do whatever you like. In our case, of course, you should go to keyboard to use this. And now, I'm not even sure if this makes any kind of sense, but I'm going to take it down a little. And after that, just click on start and you should be able to play it. I'm going to turn around to be at least a little bit competitive with this. I'm not going to be very good at it, but whatever. And just to let you know, the space key is the one where you are going to jump with. WASD, or better to say A and D, are the other ones which are really, really important for this game. Nothing else really matter. Here you have a couple of different options, like power-ups, which are going to be available later on. You can go to different kinds of classic mode, for instance. Classic mode is just run around and get away from the obstacles, and of course get all the gems. And you can go Gem Rush, where there are no enemies, but you can just get a lot of different gems for you. You can switch between different kinds of characters, which I like a lot. So if you don't want to play this guy with the hat there, just use, for instance, the robot or whatever. And there are a couple of different, two in the end, options for the caves you are going to run through. One is for icy parts and one is for the cave one. So for the lava part, so fire modes. I'm going to go with that. Start. And we are going to... Do I have to buy something? Oh, yeah, sorry. Of course, if you are playing this with the wrong combination, you have to start with the classic character. After that, if you want to use one of the others, you have to buy it first. So let's have a look at this. Here you already can see this is the game. And this little small guy is just running around. You are going to collect all the different gems here. More or less get as many as possible. This is of course what you are going to have to do here. And then you are just going to jump and try to get rid of, for instance, those, the bats, more or less. And of course, be very aware that, for instance, these fire parts there will let you jump up, because you're more or less hurting yourself if you're doing that. So, stuff like that. Sometimes that can be helpful even. And as you can see, there we got hit by the bats more or less. I think that will just make you a little bit less jumpy if you do that. So be aware of that. And now just try to navigate your way through, get as many gems as you can, And as you can see, we were a little bit hindered by the beds there and couldn't jump over the gap there. So in the end, it's I think an endless runner where you're going to have a distance more or less and getting different kinds of total scores and stuff like that. So just try it out. It's a very simple game, but in the end it's a fun one if you like this kind of game, and try to get the highest score more or less. And yeah, not much more to tell about this game, I think. After a while, if you collected enough gems and stuff like that, of course you can buy different other things as mentioned before. And yeah, just try it out. There's even a leaderboard if you want to have a look at that, try it out, so you can see, okay, we have a couple of different options here. It's a game that is available for Android and for Windows in some kind of way, and so just try it out. Some of them might be fun. Okay, so if you have done that, hopefully I'm going to be able to move it around again. Let's see. Or get out of the game, that would be very nice too. Let's see if we can. That's a big trouble. Hopefully the game itself gives us the option to do that. I'm not sure at the moment where I would have to go. Oh, okay, it's the other way around. There we are. Sorry for that. In the end, now let's have a look at the third game of this episode. And the last game is a pretty extensive one, even if you ask me. So the game is more or less something, pretty nicely done. It's really a rally game where you are going to drive with a car around. It's in 3D. It doesn't have the nicest shaders or something, but it's pretty well done. Only thing is, you will have to play it with a smartphone. That's or better to say with the tilt function of your smartphone. There's, I think, no good other way to play it. You can of course use a touch display and then play it like this, but that's not something I would recommend. Mouse and stuff like that, yeah, it's close to unplayable with this kind of input device. So use the tilt function of your smartphone in this case, that should be fine. Let's have a look at it. It's Rally Point 4 what we are going to play. And in the end, as mentioned before, use your smartphone to navigate, at least after the menu and stuff like that, and more or less drive the car itself. It's a fine one. I'm not going to play it too long because it's pretty hard even, if you ask me. In the end, you're going to play against the time in general, so it's not with other players, I think at least. And you're going to play against the time, but it really has pretty nice graphics, if you ask me. So Rally Point 4, meant to be played like this. You can use your mouse in the menu at least, so if you want, for instance, to get rid of the mute, the sound or something, you can do that. You can even select if you want to have on-screen devices or tilt options. As mentioned before, I don't think that on-screen devices will help you to play this because it's not going to recognize anything. So in the end, you can't really play it with your keyboard. On-screen devices are really just buttons. Sorry, I clicked on something I didn't want to. Yeah, camera button, got it. Come on, go out there. Thank you. If you click on the camera button in between, it can of course get rid of it, or it can cause trouble. Sometimes it's a good idea to go into this to see what's running in the background, especially for the harder games like this one. So let's try this game out. Interestingly, it's very nicely done. Like, this is a magazine for car enthusiasts or rally enthusiasts. This is a menu, so go on the play buttons if you want to. These are the different options you have. I'm not sure what this is at the moment. I think it's a scoreboard, but I don't have to click on it at the moment. I'm going to play this. As you can see, you have a couple of different options for the different tracks, more or less. So desert, snow and jungle are the three more or less, let's say, environments you can play in, and there are a couple of different maps you are going to play on them. So just select which one you want. I think I played desert before. I'm going to play snow at the moment. Here you can more or less select which kind of car you want to drive. So you can go with a normal rally car, you can go with something like a little bit cross here or whatever you want to use there, and you can even go with a truck more or less. So I think I'm going to use the middle one. I played the rally car before, now we are going to try it like this. One thing, just to let you know, I find it hard to play games with a tilt functionality because, like this one, they are often very hard to play in the end, if you ask me. But whatever, let's see. As mentioned before, you have, of course, to drive somewhere. And now, just drive against the timer. You already see it, 2 minutes and 45 seconds are the timer options we have there, and we have to beat that. In the end, these moving, spinning around, I'm not sure what the name in English would be, but those fluttermen are there, are more or less where you should go. And of course, what you're going to play here is just in the third person option, as you can see. But a very nice game, a little bit easy of course. Sometimes you have a little bit of a rock of lag there. You can go in different directions, you can move around by turning your part here, and it's a nice game. It really works well enough to play this. Wow. Okay, bad version. So this is not because the game is bad or something, it's just because I am bad at this game. And of course there are breaks. You have a nitro option, so for instance the N there, you can see that. It stands for nitro. If I hit that, I'm going to go a lot faster then. And this is one of the parts that is really a little bit unrealistically, but whatever. So we can't really go through even the smallest obstacles more or less, which are of any kind of importance. So you can't just drive that over or something. Sometimes it's a good idea in these games to really use the brakes in some situations and really not drive like I'm in general doing, but it's a bad thing, I know about that, with more or less full throttle, because in those kinds of situations you really have to drive a little bit more cautious. One thing that is a little bit strange about the physics here, but it's fine, it's nothing to worry about too much at least, is that even the slightest one, we even got it, as you can see, even the slightest hit at anything will more or less bring you to a halt. So it's not like you're sliding along a little bit or something, but if you're really getting and touching something, you stand still. But anyway, it's a nice game, as you can see, 3D. You can drive against the clock if you want to do a continue or retry. You should be able to play the next map now, because we got the first one here, and you are always driving against the time in the end, so the timer is going to be your biggest enemy in this game. Other than that, great game, try it out. It has high potential, if you ask me, for you to have a lot of fun with it. So, in the end, I would say this is more or less then the end of the episode. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, have a great time. As always, you can find the download links for the games I showed here in the description box down below. If you have any kind of questions, comments, whatever, put them down below in the comments section down below that. And of course, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and of course subscribe to the channel if you didn't till now. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, have a great time, have a great day. We will see us in the next episode again, and so bye